Hi, my name is Brooke. I currently live in Alabama. I was diagnosed with depression at 5 years old. I started going to, my mom started taking me to a psychologist at 5 years old. I was first diagnosed with separation anxiety. I couldn't go to school. I eventually had to be homeschooled because I couldn't go to school due to the anxiety. Would go to my psychologist twice a week until it got so bad to where she told my mom that I needed stronger counseling plus medicine that she couldn't provide. So then I started going to a psychiatrist who I started going to him for several years. As I was little, I remember why I started going to my psychologist. I couldn't go to school. I remember crying, just not able to go, having bad separation anxiety from my mom, and I couldn't control it. I didn't know why. I just knew I couldn't go. I didn't know why I couldn't go, but my parents searched for reasons why. They called my pediatrician, and they recommended her to a good psychologist. So my mom took me, and I remember my psychologist recommended my mom getting me a book, and I remember the book. It was called The Kissing Hand, and it was about a baby raccoon who kind of had trouble separating from his mom, and it was a very cute book, and it kind of was about separation. And my mom, I remember, to help me throughout the day, she would kiss my hand, and it would be as she would do it before school, and would be a reminder to me at the end of the day to get me through that, to help with the separation. And I still have that book today to hopefully, if I have a child who has separation problems, to read that to them. So I remember the doctor recommending that book to help, but I didn't realize why I was having it. I didn't realize why the other kids weren't doing what I was doing, and I knew I was different, but I didn't really know why. And I remember finally the doctor telling my parents that what she was doing wasn't working, and that I needed stronger help that she couldn't offer. So she recommended me to a psychiatrist who they offer more help in the area of mental illness and offering medication. And sadly, at that point in my teenage years, it got worse. I was seeing a very good doctor. He wasn't just a doctor who prescribed medication, but was also a doctor who also helped, would talk to me. And then at the end, I remember him talking about medicine, but also took the time to talk to me and my mom to help kind of figure out why I was doing the things I was doing. But I remember a time where I was about 12, 13. I was in such a depression that I was harming myself. I was cutting myself on a regular basis. I didn't know why. I just remember there were just times where I would just go in my room, I would close the door and harm myself. I would do it in a way that no one would see, but I would know. It would just make me feel better. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't know why. The first time, after a while, my mom caught me and got me help. called my doctor, and we put me on a stronger antidepressant, and I was kind of in remission, I guess you would say, for a while, and then I fell back into it for a little bit, and then I remember knowing it was wrong and that I needed help, and I remember going to my mom in her room, and I was ashamed and I was scared to tell her, and I told her that I was hurting myself again. I was scared to tell her because I didn't want her angry at me. And I just knew that it was something that I didn't need to be doing, but I didn't know why I was doing it. It just helped and made me feel better. And they put me on a better medicine to help it until, my doctor, and I would go every couple weeks, to see him, and he would see how, the medicine was doing it. I remember my parents, they helped me a lot in that time because the doctor was not a cheap doctor, but he was a great doctor, and helped me a lot in that time. I saw him for about 7 years until finally he moved, unfortunately. But it was a very hard time because I didn't know why I was doing the things I was doing. All I knew is I was sad. I felt happy at times, and I thought I was happy, but inwardly I just knew I wasn't feeling good. I just remember there were times I would just go, I remember vividly, I would just go in my room, I would close the door, and I would just cut myself, and I just knew that it was wrong, but I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop why I was doing it or why, until I find out that it was the depression that was hurting me so bad. Because at the time I was young, I didn't really know about mental illness at that time. I didn't really know what I know now about it. I didn't know at the time that it was an illness. I didn't know at the time that it was something that people went through. I didn't know at the time that it was something that people did to make them feel better. I just knew that I found something that helped me at that time, and I knew that it was something that I needed. My parents took away what I was using, and I couldn't use this object. I'd rather not say what it is, but I couldn't use it for many years. I remember vividly my dad would not let me use it for many years until my late teenage years, early adulthood years, and even to this day still, if I have to use these, it brings back bad memories, and I get scared sometimes to use them because it just brings back what I did with them, and it just shows how bad depression is, even at such a young age, and how bad anxiety is. But even at such a young age, you deal with depression, even if you don't know what it is. You may not know what exactly it is, but you know something's wrong. And I knew something was wrong, but thankfully my parents knew, and they got me the help that I needed. Even there was a moment in my time where my parents almost Baker acted me. I was so bad for about 3 months. I remember I couldn't leave. I was so depressed. My dad, we were on our way to church, and I couldn't leave the house because I was so anxiety and depressed. I was crying because I couldn't leave, and my dad said, we will Baker act you to get you help. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to be Baker acted. I knew I needed to get through it. I knew I needed to push through it and to overcome it before it overcame me. And that was kind of at my breaking point, to where I knew that the depression and the anxiety could not overcome me, but that I needed to defeat it. Baker Act is a place for people with severe mental illness, which is what I have. It's at the hospital. it's a place where they take you. You know, you go for 48 hours or however long you need. I don't know too much about it, but I just know that it's a place where if you are direly in need of it, you need to go, because they will help you and give you the help and the resources that you need. Thankfully, I overcame and didn't need to go there, but I knew that if I kept going down the path I was going to tell my parents to take me there, because I didn't want to get to that point where I was going to harm myself or kill myself, one of those two, anymore. Depression is not something to ever be ashamed about. Anxiety is never something to be ashamed about. I honestly am happy sometimes I do have it, because I can encourage other people, other girls who have it, because I can show them that they can overcome it, that it's not wrong to be on medicine, that it's not maybe you're not right, or you're not like others who have it. That's okay. I'm happy for not being like others, because I know that I got the help that I needed, and even though I have to take a medicine every single day, that's okay. I'm happy for my parents who got me the help that I needed, so now I can help other girls or other guys who may feel ashamed, but that it's okay. It's all right. It's nothing to be mad about, even though it's okay sometimes to be mad and upset about it. I still do sometimes, because it's sometimes frustrating to take another pill every day. But don't be ashamed of it. It's okay. There are people who, are right there with you, who understand what you're going through, and who you can lean on for help, and to know what it feels like to go through the things you do. Depression is something that I can't really, it's a hard thing to describe, because there are just times where I just wake up and I just do not feel myself. I just know I just feel sad. A couple months ago, I knew I had to get back. There was something I needed to do. I just remember just feeling horrible. I would just cry for no reason. I was just upset. I was just sad. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be cheerful. I wanted to be excited, but I couldn't, and I didn't know why. I just knew that I was not myself anymore. I remember at work just going to the bathroom and crying, and it was just hard to do the things I know that I needed to do every day. It kind of felt like I was just pushing myself to do it. I would put on this face of I'm happy, I'm okay, but inwardly I was struggling. It would make me angry. I would get angry pretty easily, because I felt like nobody understood. I felt like inwardly I was fighting something that nobody understood. I felt like if I told someone they wouldn't understand, they would just blow it off, which would make me upset, that I felt like I was just going through it alone. I wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to go out and do things. I knew I needed to go out and do things and be with people, but I didn't want to. And if I did, I had to force myself to do it. And I knew from the many years of depression that this is what it was. And I told my mom and my boyfriend, I said, there's something wrong. I said, I need to get back on a medicine. And from the many years of being on antidepressants, I knew the medicines that I had taken, and I knew the medicines that were right for me. And thankfully, I have a great neurologist who prescribed me a medicine that I had been on for many years. So he put me back on it, and it works great for me now. I do feel a lot better. I feel like it has definitely uplifted me, helped my mood a lot. It's helped me so much. I still battle it sometimes. There are days where I have to push myself through it, but I just know, and I had to tell myself it's okay to get put back on an antidepressant. It's okay to say I need it. It's okay to say I'm an adult and I need this help. And I'm happy that I did, because if not, I knew I would still be stuck in that hole of faking how I was feeling, of faking being happy. So I'm very happy that I took that step, and I said I need help, I need medicine, and it's just made me a lot better. There are times where I do feel down, and I do feel, there are just days where I feel my moods, and I feel the depression, I feel the anxiety want to take a hold of me. But thankfully I have a great support system of friends who uplift me. I know a lot of people don't want to tell their friends that they're struggling mentally because they're ashamed, they're afraid their friends will judge them. They're afraid their friends will not want to be their friends anymore because they'll feel like a burden. I have felt that way. I didn't want to tell my friends that, hey, I struggle in this. Can I lean on you when I'm having a bad day? It's okay. Don't ever feel like you're a burden to your friends or to your family. Sometimes just talking things out makes you feel so much better. It takes a weight off. Even that, helping with depression, just opening up. I have learned that keeping everything bottled up makes the depression and the anxiety worse. You hold it all in until it kind of wants to burst, and when it does, it doesn't help anything. I've done that many times. But I've learned to lean on people. I wouldn't recommend trusting everyone with all your problems. I would recommend finding a certain group of people, small group of, girls, guys, whoever it is. If it may be, me, I know I have about 4, who I know that if I'm having a bad day, I can call up. I can text. I know I can call in the middle of the night if I'm struggling. Hey, can I talk? Hey, can you pray for me? Hey, let's go eat. And it helps so much. I know another way that helps me is I just remember the Lord's there. He has given me this illness for some reason. I don't know why. I don't understand why He's done it. I believe He's done it so that I can grow, and that I can encourage, and that I can be a better person and be a better spiritual help to others who need it. But those 2 things have just been a help to me. Just having a great support system has helped me so much these past couple months, because I don't know how I would be able to do it alone. So many people who have depression, anxiety think they can just handle all the problems by themselves. They think that they can handle it and that they can just figure out it all themselves. They can just get through it alone, and that's not the way to fix it. You're not a burden to people. You're not a burden to anyone. And if anyone ever makes you feel like you're a burden to your friends, and they're not your true friends. So I just recommend getting a support system, reading the Word, knowing the Lord's there, knowing your friends are there, knowing your family's there. Your family's also there to help you. My parents have been great to help me reach out to, the family you do have. So I would recommend those things to help me.
You're caught up in nothing, wasting your time ain't chasing stars. You live in the moment,